It did not help me get through that first day. I had to try to not listen to it, and it's the sounds are funny in the chamber. Once you're under that pressure, like normal speech is, it seems like that doesn't carry as well, so the volume of that's down. But screaming and clanging and any really loud, shocking noises are like twice as loud as they would be at regular air pressure. So I shut my eyes, tried not to listen, and went over. I play online games with my brother in the evening, StarCraft, and so we're always looking to improve our strategy and see if we can't move up another level. So okay, I'm thinking about the strategies, and we can do this, I can get this built faster and so forth. And finally we came to the first break, because they don't leave you on with the hood on the whole time. If you have oxygen for too long in a row, you can get oxygen poisoning and seizures happen. And so you do 30 minutes with the hood on, breathing pure oxygen. Then they take everyone's hood off for 5 minutes and you breathe regular air. Oh my gosh, was that a relief to have the hood off. But I know it was going to come back on. Just stay calm. Just stay calm. I'm looking at the people around me. They all have their various medical issues. They're not freaking out. So why am I freaking out? Okay, don't freak out. Don't freak out. So we get the hoods back on, and they put the oxygen, and they have to adjust it for how the various people are breathing, I guess. I'm not sure exactly about this, but I do know that at some point the plastic's getting closer to my face, and then the guy kind of hops up and goes and turns the dial a little bit, and then it comes back up. And then if they go too much the other way, every time you breathe, the whole hood and the whole thing goes. So I worked to keep the panickiness under control, got through the next 30-minute session. Helmet's off again, finally. So I thought to myself, okay, you got through the first session, the second session, we got one more 30-minute session, you can get through this. Now let's not think about having to do this another 117 times over the next 39 days. No, we're just going to think about it. We're through 2/3 of it. So got through all of it. Oh, well, the movie finished finally. There was like 15 minutes left in our the last session with the hood on, and oh my god, finally the movie finished, yay. And something came on about our Earth or our planet. And I thought, oh, it's going to be nice scenes of nature kind of thing. Yeah, 3 minutes into that, what have we got? We've got the predator stalking the antelope and then running alongside and ripping the neck out, and they've got the big microphones so they can hear the sound of the antelope squealing as the neck's being ripped out. And it was all those sounds. I thought, are they doing this as a kind of initiation to the new person to see what kind of thing they can trigger in me? Probably just bad luck though. Once I finished the first day of the treatment, I will say I felt really energized, not immediately after, but by the time I got home and started eating, I thought, my gosh, I feel like doing a lot of stuff. And that lasted for maybe 4 or 5 hours. I really felt energized, which makes sense because it's not a targeted treatment. All that extra oxygen is going everywhere, to the muscles, to the heart, to the brain. So I really had a lot of get up and go the rest of that day. But as soon as I finished my breakfast and had a couple cups of tea to start rehydrating, I went to the library, went to the large print section, because you are allowed to bring in books and magazines so long as you can't bring newspapers. You can't bring really fine paper. The kind of paper you would use to start a fire in your fireplace, can't have that. But books are okay, and magazines are okay. So I got large print books because ordinarily I would read on my Kindle. On my Kindle I just say font larger and there we go, no problem. Electronics not allowed into the chamber because there is that fire risk. So I went to the large print section, got 4 or 5 large print books. I don't remember the last time I went to the library and checked out paper books, but thank goodness for them. So I showed up for my second day of treatment, books in hand, and when they started the movie, which I thought there can't be anything worse than that thing they showed us yesterday. It wasn't worse this next movie, but it was, I don't know, there were a lot of dogs dying and owners dying, and I tuned it all out. I had my interesting books to read, and the time went like that. Very little of the panicky, only if I stopped reading and was looking up at something and started thinking about stuff. No, don't think. Get back to the story. And so since then, haven't had the issues with the panickiness. Thank goodness for large print paper books. So you can't bring a Kindle in with you. Of course, you can't bring a phone in, electronic device. You can't bring in an MP3 player with earbuds or something. Nothing electronic. So I'm busy reading. What are my fellow divers doing? None of them bring anything to read. I would say most of them watch whatever the movie is. A couple of them pretty reliably fall asleep. Lucky them, they sleep through it. The technician who's in the chamber with us, it's not the most exciting time for them either. You keep an eye on if the the hood's getting too close to our face or if it's doing one of these things. So they're watching that and adjusting. But once they've got everything adjusted, which takes a few minutes, usually they don't have to fiddle too much after that. So they kind of watch whatever's playing. The other thing the technician has to do is check the blood sugar of anyone who's diabetic, because doing this hyperbaric oxygen treatment tends to lower your blood sugar. I'm sure my blood sugar was lowered as well. But if you have blood sugar control issues, then your blood sugar can drop too much, and that can be very bad, to be hypoglycemic. So the technician inside just takes the blood, puts it in a little thing, and then in the side of the chamber they have a mini chamber that has a door on the inside with a big seal and a clip, and then one on the outside. So the inside technician takes the blood sample, puts it in the chamber, closes it, knocks on the wall of the chamber. The technician outside opens up their little mini chamber door, takes the sample. So this way they don't depressurize the whole chamber. They go and run the glucose test on the blood, and then they take that screen and sort of hold it up to the porthole window so the person inside can see how the person's blood sugar is doing. And they do apparently have quite a number of diabetic wound patients do this treatment, because it's kind of similar to the radiation damage. With diabetes, it damages your microvasculature. So again, the very tiny blood vessels get damaged, and so you get the wounds that just can't seem to heal. And then yesterday we had 2 new people join our team of divers, and they're both diabetic. They both needed their blood tested at the start, and then 2/3 of the way through they do it. And it was surprising to me, one person failed the test. The technician announced, "Oh, your blood sugar is 90." And my thought was, 90? Boy, that's great. Mine's usually in the mid or upper 90s. 90 is really good. But not if you're diabetic in this circumstance, because when they came in, their blood sugar was over 150. So the effect of the hyperbaric oxygen knocked their blood sugar down from 150 to 90. And they were told, I thought, are they going to have to depressurize the tank to get the person out? Because they're not going to fit in that mini chamber. And no, they stay in. They don't interrupt the treatment for everyone else, but they can't have the oxygen hood, which provides a big part of the treatment. The person wasn't very happy about that, but the technician explained, your blood sugars come down to 90, another 30 minutes with the oxygen hood, and it could go below 70. You could have some really bad issues. So they had to accept that. They sort of missed out on the last third of their treatment. And the technician told them, okay, tomorrow make sure to come in with your blood sugar higher, so when it does that drop, you'll still be above 100. They have to have it above 100 in order to continue for the last third treatment. And I thought, well, it's not often you're going to hear a medical professional telling you to go, telling a diabetic, well, go out there and get your numbers up or we can't treat you. So it's been an experience, and 7 more weeks to go. I'm sure there will be more experiences. I will keep my books close at hand to entertain my mind, so my mind doesn't go places that are not productive. And in a few weeks, I'll do a follow-up. Everyone's already asking me. I've only done a week of it, but oh, do you feel better? Is it improving things? It's hard to say, because it wasn't always an everyday visible issue that I could see what was going on. So I need to give it a couple weeks here and see, but I feel like it's helping. In addition to the radiation proctitis I mentioned, I also had the bladder issues. I feel like I'm sleeping a little better at night, more times when I manage to go 2.5 hours. It's hard to tell though, because I'm doing this weird thing now with all my eating and drinking compressed into 5 hours. So that could certainly be skewing how often I'm peeing in the middle of the night. I did mention I feel like I have more energy. And I mentioned in my previous video about another thing I thought I could test with this treatment, something that's supposed to help, is arthritis. And starting about 6 months ago, both my right knee, left thumb, the arthritis has been bad. And it's still stiff, the knee's still a little stiff, but I'm doing this and it's not hurting. and I'm actually able to open some jars now. So I'm pretty impressed with what's going on here. I also walked 3.5 miles the other day. Knee was a little bit sore coming back home, but the next day felt perfectly normal. So I'm hoping that this infusion of oxygen, of healing oxygen, is going to get to all the corners of my body that have their various things going on. And whether it's a side effect of the chemo, the radiation, the being on Lupron for 3 years and having testosterone side effects, or just the getting old stuff going on, having a little bit more oxygen in there to heal things up and rejuvenate them, that's worth 2 hours a day. Being under 40 feet of water pressure with a plastic hood providing your oxygen. Watching Netflix movies I would never choose to watch on my own. Let me have the remote just once. I'll shoot it through the porthole and put on something good. And I'll see you on the next review.
There are so many choices and you don't want to stress. You want your health food at home, receiving only the best. That's what we're here for. We give honest reviews. Paris DX.